Now let's talk about the War of 1812. Two conflicts lead to this. One is the Napoleonic Wars, and this is Napoleon's attempt to conquer Europe, which he's, of course, funding with the money we gave him for the Louisiana Purchase. And the other is a series of wars that break out in the West between Americans and the Native Americans. The Native Americans, of course, are allying with Britain because the Americans are taking their land. In 1805, the British Navy destroys the French Navy at the Battle of Trafalgar. Napoleon controls the land and Britain controls the sea in the Napoleonic Wars. And so Napoleon closes all European ports to any British shipping, and Britain responds by blockading Europe, not letting any ships through. And this essentially shuts down American foreign trade, which of course is a huge crisis for us because that's how we make our money. Great Britain was probably worse for America because they were seizing our ships and taking the cargo and impressing the sailors. That doesn't mean the sailors were like, wow, you're impressive. It means that they were forcing them to serve they were basically kidnapping them and forcing them to serve in the British Navy. The British Navy was called floating hell because conditions there were so horrible. The British claim that they have the right to search all U.S. ships for British naval deserters, because lots of people ran away from the British Navy, and to seize any British-born U.S. citizens. But in reality, they seized whoever they could get their hands on. In 1807, off the coast of Norfolk, the British ship the Leopard attacks the American ship the Chesapeake, and the American demands revenge. Jefferson, though, refuses, remaining committed to neutrality. In 1807, Jefferson imposes an embargo. This means we refuse to import either British or French goods. Seagoing trade is banned by Congress, and this sends our economy into a total tailspin. The Federalists, of course, criticized Jefferson severely over this. The Federalists want us to help Britain, by the way. In 1808, in 1808 we're going to have an election, and the Democratic Republicans win again, but they barely win when James Madison narrowly beats Charles Cotesworth Pinckney in a country that is angry about the embargo. By the way, this little turtle here is named... it's embargo spelled backwards. I don't see it on here. But anyway, he represents the embargo as he's attacking this poor American here. Right before he leaves office, Jefferson actually takes the embargo away. He undoes the embargo and opens trade back up again with Europe. In 1809, Congress passes the unfortunately named Non-Intercourse Act, which bans trade with which allows trade with everyone but Britain and France. It expires in 1810. You can see here it represented by an even angrier turtle for some reason. It's replaced by Macon's Bill No. 2, which says the U.S. will trade with everyone until one or the other agrees to stop attacking them, and then they'll embargo the other one. So if France agrees to stop attacking us, we'll only trade with France. If Britain agrees to stop attacking us, we'll only trade with Britain. Napoleon takes the deal. He immediately stops attacking us, and Britain follows immediately after that. But this is going to turn out to be too little too late, because by then we've already entered into war with the British. There is increasing white encroachment onto Native American lands, and the Native Americans have retreated into Canada, and they're seeking British help. A 26-year-old Virginian named William Henry Harrison is pushing for laws making it easier for whites to settle western land. In 1801, William Henry Harrison becomes the territorial governor of Indiana. Jefferson tells the Native Americans they can either live like whites, or they can give up their claims to the land, or they can move west of the Mississippi. And Jefferson thinks he's being very nice by doing this. But of course, today we don't really see it that way. Harrison is ruthless in enforcing Jefferson's policies. He lies, he cheats, he steals, he kills to take away the Native American land. After the Leopard Chesapeake incident, Britain fears that America might invade Canada, and the ties between the British and the Native Americans become even stronger. Meanwhile, among the Native Americans, a leader named Tenskwatawa, who calls himself the Prophet, has a vision when he gives up drinking, and he believes that the white world is sinful and corrupt, and the Native American world is pure and good. And he founds a city called Prophetstown at the intersection of the Tippecanoe and the Wabash Rivers. His religious meeting to preach this new gospel of his turns into a military alliance led by his brother Tecumseh, who's a Shawnee chief. In 1809, Tecumseh sets out to unite all the Native Americans in the Mississippi River Valley. He argues that the land actually belongs to all the Native Americans, so any treaty signed with just one tribe is illegitimate. In 1811, Tecumseh leaves Prophetstown to go south to gather more tribes into his alliance. When he leaves and takes the warriors with him, William Henry Harrison attacks Prophetstown in the Battle of Tippecanoe. He burns the town to the ground, but there are heavy U.S. losses, even though most of the Native American warriors aren't there. The Native American alliance collapses in confusion in the wake of the attack, but the Native Americans regroup in 1812, and they begin raiding white settlements. The Americans learned that Canadians had aided and supplied the Native Americans with weapons, and so William Henry Harrison and his supporters began demanding that we push Great Britain off out of North America altogether. So there's Tippecanoe. That'll come up later. Florida. Florida is an issue because this is where runaway slaves go, because Spain has outlawed slavery a long time ago. The Native Americans there also will raid out of Florida, and then we can't really do anything to them once they run back. It also blocked access to the Gulf of Mexico if you were, say, in Georgia or Alabama, and you wanted to take your goods down there to ship them out off of there into the Caribbean. In 1810, U.S. settlers steal Baton Rouge. They just simply take the city and ask to be annexed into the United States, and James Madison does so. And Florida lust, the desire to possess Florida, it takes over America. Spain, of course, is an ally of Great Britain, and many people begin to argue that if we go to war with Great Britain, we might end up with Florida because Spain and Great Britain are allies. War fever rages, particularly in the West and the South, because the West, of course, has the conflict with the Native Americans, and the Southerners want Florida.